Hey, what's up, YouTube? Thank you for being here with me today. Um, Today is part two of the series, Mythbusters, the Naysayer Series part two. What happens if a tornado or hurricane hits the property? What happens if a tornado or hurricane hits the property? Let me explain something real quick. These series are mostly based on common sense. However, common sense isn't that common. So this may be new information to some people. If so, great. What happens if a tornado or hurricane hits the property, completely destroys the property? You know, how do you get your money? How do you get your property fixed or whatnot? Let me explain something to you. Knew a guy. I knew a guy way back when I first got started in this. We were playing cards at a hotel, and I mentioned my idea, uh, basic premise about taxes and this whole deal of why it makes sense to get heavily involved in investment real estate. And this was about this may have been 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I explained that how now is the best time, more than ever, to get involved in investment real estate. And the gentleman decided to go through a story, very interesting story, heartfelt story, of how he knew a guy. All all bad stories start that way. He knew a guy that owned 8 or 10 investment properties, and basically there was a hurricane that destroyed the properties, and at that point he was just left out, without anything, not the properties, no money, anything. Let me explain something to you. It's real simple. There's multiple ways to do this. There is a incorrect way or a higher risk way of doing investment real estate, where you kind of have a lot of greed and liability running the same course, meaning the ideal of being self-insured. A lot of individuals are self-insured, but a lot of individuals aren't wealthy enough to be self-insured, okay? Or you can be insured and properly insured, okay? The shorthand answer is this. If you do not have insurance and the proper insurance, then you have a pretty serious issue. Like your read your insurance policies. Now landlord insurance pretty much covers everything. If you live in a hazardous area, make sure you have hazard insurance. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But you just got to be properly insured, is what I'm basically saying. You have to be properly insured. If you have loops in your insurance, then those problems are going to present themselves. Don't be having people working on your house or your property without signing waivers, limit, release of liability, and all that good stuff. Insurance, been around forever. A lot of people try to, skirt past it and get away from insurance. It's important to be properly insured. I know this. I am also a licensed insurance agent. Don't practice, but I've taken a test and passed it, and know exactly how insurance works. So be properly insured. If you're properly insured, your property is covered. If you're properly insured. So you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of times you don't be properly insured. That's that. Okay. Let's see. Self-insurance. If you got a nice little nest egg, you can be self-insured, cash for a little bit more money, and for most people, that horrible situation will never happen to, right? But don't let that scare you, because there's a proper course of doing business that have existed for hundreds of years. And in this proper course of doing business, those problems have been worked out, answered, and And most of the time, when you put in the insurance claim, they make sure they cover. They're gonna give you enough money on your investment property to properly have it, you made whole, basically. They're not trying to give you more money. They're not trying to give you less money. They're just trying to make you what is known as whole. So proper insurance. What else I was gonna say? Yeah, I guess that just make sure you're properly insured. Insurance takes care of those issues. Just a rant.